What's going on, guys? Welcome back. It's that time again. We've got this season 3 hero balance patch and how they're going to adjust all the heroes within the game and how much they hate your main and love Luna Snow and Hawkeye. Do they get another ability? We'll have to find out. But there are some big winners that I think are going to surprise you guys and some even bigger losers, sadly, from all of this. But we got new team ups, what that's going to offer, some hidden nerfs as well. And as always, guys, this is my first reaction, and then we'll do the side-by-sides and we'll compare exactly the changes visually that you'll see when I get early access here in the coming days, which I think is going to matter a lot with this patch. So stay tuned for that. Let's jump in. All right, to kick things off, guys, we start with the Vanguards and Emma Frost. And I thought Mother was going to be taking some big hits, but it's not too bad by the looks of it. So they're going to trade a bit of her offense for glam. Love the puns. Starting off, she gets like a 10 DPS hit of total damage from her beam, which is completely fine in my opinion. Not going to be that big of a deal, combined with her damage reduction going from 30% down to 25%. Kind of what the Thing got in about a patch ago. And again, you know, you'll feel it to some degree, but it's not life-changing. Plus, her ultimate's going to get charged faster. So I don't think this is going to take her out of the meta. And is one of the best, if not the best, Vanguard currently in the game. And the biggest thing about her, too, guys, is that she is the team-up anchor for Psylocke and Magneto, which both of those heroes obviously are meta picks in their respective roles, and that's not changing. So, yeah, Emma Frost, White Queen, still plenty meta pick. I thought she was going to get way worse. Next up, we go to the Thing. We're not afraid to say it. It's clobbering time, just in time for the Fantastic Four movie. I thought all of the F4 was going to get, like, a massive buff just to, like, I don't know, help market the movie. This is by far the biggest change of today. It might as well be like a new hero coming out. They're giving him a way to go towards enemies and target them, which changes a lot about him and is going to definitely boost him as a character. So first of all, you guys saw, I believe, in the dev vision that he can attack flying units. I think they need to bring this to more Vanguards. I love that they're experimenting a little bit here, but just to have a Vanguard that can deal with flyers easier is a complete W. But on top of this, it's just a great aggression tool as well. Like, you can dive in and save your, supports from a Black Panther. And I don't think, definitely you couldn't charge up the Haymaker as you were using his E previously. So just a W all the way around. Like the Thing, and if you were a Thing main who definitely struggled a bit in the last season or so, rejoice, because this is going to make him way better. Definitely one of those like high and low elo win-win situations. Venom. Now, I was curious about this one because they said he was getting a buff in the dev vision. He has a stickier grip. Ugh. His control and diving is now slightly more terrifying. So you're going to increase his right click, I believe, the slow effect from 15% to 25%. So I talked to a Venom one trick and he said, this is massive. I play a little bit of Venom, not a ton, but now you won't be able to escape Venom near as much, making him much more lethal when you dive on one particular strategist, or if you're trying to isolate somebody, slow them down and pick them off. So this like reads like it's not a big change, but from what I can understand, it's going to be nice. You can truly like hunt your prey with the symbiote. I think people want more from him. I get it. It's Venom. He's badass. But yeah, this is going to be okay for now. All right, guys. So that's going to wrap up the Vanguards. Let's move on to the Duelists. Now, funny enough, the Human Torch is who we start with. And this is one of those heroes that is going to divide low and high elo players. In the pro scene, Human Torch, by a far margin, was what won pro Ignite matches. He was the carry duelist for the team and often the first ban hero if available. Definitely crazy in the top tier scene. Low elo seems very underwhelming, so I get why some people are going to be mad at what is a net nerf all around. Now, first of all, he is getting a 5% bonus damage boost with Spider-Man, so you do have that going for him. But in return, flame on, they say, but mind the heat. Essentially, they're going to be lowering his damage mostly all around outside of the fireballs that he throws, his alt fireball. Reduce fire cluster damage per projectile from 6 to 5.5. Yeah, obviously a pretty big loss there. And then Supernova in general is getting cut down in terms of how much it can do. Still a very good ult at pressuring, still good for combos. I think Human Torch is going to be just fine, but again, he's one of those skill gap heroes that if you're reading this and you're more of a casual player, it probably doesn't make any sense. But let's be real, guys. You know who's putting his flame out the most? It is Phoenix, man. She's the fire hero to represent this season, you can tell. Moving on, we have Iron Man, who's starting to feel like one of those heroes that get touched up like every single patch. And I don't know why. All of his are always so weird and complicated. They're never straightforward. I feel like they just can't get him down right to kind of feel good in all ranks in pro play. Tony's slightly powering down with reduced damage output and longer wait for his ultimate. So again, it's always complicated, but reduce the first 2 blast hits from 40 to 35 and 50 to 45 when in overdrive. So again, these have gotten buffed up. Like the third has gotten buffed up before the first and the second. So now gonna do a little bit less overall damage from the blast there. But the big thing is they're increasing his energy ult cost and charge up time way more, from 2,800 to 3,400. Now in casual play, like, yeah, I've noticed he got his ult fast, but where I really saw it was when I was casting the playoffs. I mean, the team that won, Sentinels and Rymazing, was getting this ultimate like it was an ability. He had it like each and every team fight, and it can be game winning. It can shut down strategists. So this makes sense, you know, on that front. But yeah, he's definitely taking a big hit, Iron Man mains. On top of Ultron getting nerfed as well, which we're about to get to. So I guess L if you're a Tony Stark main. Mr. Fantastic. Now, it would not be a Marvel Rivals patch note if something didn't make sense. And here we go. So the Stretchy Genius gets slightly less tanky in his inflated state. Reduce inflated state bonus health from 400 to 350. So he's just losing 50 health off the top. And I think overall, he's like the 3rd most winning hero, but not really. That's just in low elo. I feel like this is to solve that issue in low elo, but altogether, nah, he's just not played. I think I can confidently say I did not see him over the course of a month of casting. Did not see this guy play one time by pros. Ooh, a buff for the channel. Subscribe and make number go up. How about that? Also, guys, I want to do bigger and crazier things on this channel, so I've opened up memberships now for more content. I'm going to put gameplay in there, more videos, more chaos, and ultimately it's just going to help support me as a creator. So if you want to do that, you can go check that out down below. Would mean a lot. All right, moving on, we have Namor getting himself a nice buff. If you played Namor, man, you've been feasting the last couple forever, honestly. So his Triton projectile damage is going up from 70 to 75, it looks like, and the speed from 120 to 150 meters per second. That's a big boost in his travel time. And then his Wrath is 7C, so his alt fire that can help summon the turret as well to that direction is going from 120 to 150 as well. So a major boost in speed and travel time. And with this increase on damage with a headshot, he can now just instant delete with the left-right 250 health hero. So, and he's got the turrets and the whale. Crazy. Ooh, they teased this in the division. Wanda's ultimate just got a little more hextra. Reduce max slow rate during the reality eraser from 35% to 25. Okay. And they're going to increase the damage from 750 to 850. Oh, okay. So that's fine. I mean, it's still very easy to stun her out of this, but this isn't a bad increase, man. First of all, you can wipe out Groot now. Groot used to be able to kind of survive this, and it would happen every now and then. But in general, I think if you're a Scarlet main, it's fine. If you're at high elo, you didn't struggle all too much against this. Although I still think Scarlet Witch as a whole is underrated. Like, that team up with Strange is still crazy, and then they continue to give her a buff. All right, here it is, guys. This is always fun. It's Spider-Man. I guarantee, I don't know which one is going to get more comments, this or Wolverine, on which one you guys hate more. Web Warriors rejoice. Spider loses his team up anchor bonus, so he loses that hit on his damage increase, which I believe is like, what, 5%, but gains a new team up ability and a bit more bite. So increases get over here kick damage when pulled to enemies from 50 to 55. Okay, so that's one part of his combo. Increase his mid-air damage from 50 to 55, which I believe is his kind of overhead with the fist. And then his amazing combo, his uppercut from 55 to 60. So, okay, he's losing a little bit up top, but then he's gaining all of this, right? Which is scary. It probably evens kind of about out, but that's without accounting for his new team-up ability, which is his new Burning Tracer and Spider Tracer that, wait for it, guys, can activate at the same time. So, from what I heard, this is going to be crazy. The skill ceiling for this character is going up even more so. Man, I think it's fun. I don't know. This is wild. Dear God, the things I've seen, like, just dedicated one-trick Spider-Man mains do in the clips that have been sent to me could give you nightmares. Strategist lives just got that much harder. All right, Frank Castle, the Punisher. He's been one of the best duelists this season by a good amount. Again, in the Ignite casting playoffs, top-level play and low-level play, this guy is picked all the time. Frank's turrets are losing some sting, and his ultimate is going to need more juice. So his turret projectile damage is going from 12 to 10, and decrease the spell field damage from 12 to 10 as well, which I think is always funny that there's like an AoE spread on on the bullet, but I guess it makes sense. You know, that will overall, you know, take him down a little bit in DPS, but his main, like, weapon, his AR, his shotgun, like, the ammunition and damage is still through the roof. But the ultimate, all right, so when they said they were going to adjust his ultimate in the dev vision, I thought maybe it was going to be, like, his speed, when he's in it again, maybe slightly tune that down. Increase the energy cost, though, so they're making it a bit harder to farm. So it's going from 3,400 to 3,700, which honestly, there's a player, a duelist named Terra, who I regard as probably the best in the game, at least with Punisher. This man was charging this ultimate like it was a millisecond clock. I mean, just instantly getting it for every team fight as well. I don't think this is going to slow him down that much. Winter Soldier. Bucky's getting a little more dangerous, man. They love their Bucky Barnes. So they're adjusting his pistol fall-off maximum by 10% at 40 meters, which is definitely nice. These start to add up. Like, Star-Lord has gotten a few of these, and now he's obviously where he's at. So this will feel nice, and in some cases give you that elimination a bit faster. Okay, so now we move on to Wolverine. This could be a good one. When I saw this in the dev vision, and like they kind of mentioned the new team up, and how crazy that is, I was like, okay, they're going to adjust him a bit in the patch notes to compensate. They did not. He is pretty much an insta-ban now. No matter the Vanguard, Elo you're in, pro play he can carry, even without Oh, this guy's crazy. Logan's control frequency is taking a slight hit as he now needs more time to sharpen those claws between leaps. So increase his kidnap, his feral leap strike duration from 4 to 5 seconds. Okay, so you can have a whole nother second on that. That's definitely nice. But the cooldown's going from 12 seconds to 15. So that's definitely a big increase, okay, on his cooldown. You're going to feel that. It's going to take some time to get that off, and you want to get that off as much as possible, you know, to keep him hunting and flanking. However, his team up now, Phoenix, new hero, you're going to see it all the time, is so crazy because he gets a lifesteal with all of his abilities. And imagine putting this with that shred and his damage reduction. The dude is never going to die. Plus, he does burning damage now. So, just a net buff for Wolverine in games with Phoenix, which I think is going to be a lot. Dude, how funny would it be if they get rid of his team up with Phoenix when Cyclops comes into the game? I feel like they have to do this. All right, guys, last role, we've got Strategist. Invisible Woman. Sue's healing is a little bit more reliable. Now, that's fantastic. Okay. Increase orb projection healing on launch from 40 to 45 and damage from 20 to 25. Oh, wow. Okay. Reduce the healing on return from 40 to 35 and damage from 20 to 15. What? So this is just a net even change. But the only thing I see, which is going to be slightly better, is that the orb that goes out is going to heal more, and the one that's coming back, so it sometimes can be a little tricky to land that comeback on the orb projection, is going to do less. So the initial burst is going to do more, and if someone's like, you know, flying away and you need to like top off your Black Panther, your Iron Man, in those cases it'll feel better. But this is yeah, this is not that big of a deal, and I think Invisible Woman is fine either way. Loki, the God of Mischief, here it is going to be getting an increase on his ult from 4,000 to 4,300. So they have tried so many times to try to get this guy right. Loki is, I think, far away the best strategist in this game. Him and Luna, which we'll get to Luna in a second. And not with a nerf. I feel like this is not going to be that big of a deal, right? It's going to take like another couple seconds to get his ult. So I don't see this being the thing that stops Loki from being Loki. Yeah, he's still going to cook. Mantis has needed some love. Mantis healing touch grows and her ultimate is more potent. Okay, so healing flower new effect. Heals allies by 2.5% per second. Oh, hello. Reduce base healing from 20 seconds to 12.5 seconds. This is one of those things that read as a nerf, but is definitely a buff. Like if you take Groot, for example, at max health, because this is a new effect, this is just a dub all the way around. So Groot previously would get 20 healing per second, right? That 2.5% is 20 healing per second, plus you get the 12.5% per second. So massive boost in healing for your Vanguards. She can now feel a bit more like a main healer rather than, you know, if you were going in and didn't have her with the Luna cloak, whatever, it just felt really bad. So definitely massive for her. Mantis and Thing are the big winners. Increase energy cost of her ult from 3,700 to 4,300. That's a big increase, but the bonus max health from 100 to 150. Again, just a W. Her ult's going to get a lot better. Going to be a lot harder to charge it, but with this new healing too, you should be able to get it that much faster. All right, we now have an Ultron nerf, which I saw a lot of people get mad about this in the dev vision. And again, I think this is like a Human Torch thing at low and high elo and kind of where you see them. But let's see what they're doing. Ultron's going to have an update to his software and his defenses are taking a slight hit. He's a little less of a team player. which seems fine by him in this patch. So reduce dynamic flight acceleration effect time from 8 seconds to 6 seconds. That is fine, right? Because his when you activate this, the boost happens and then he flies, which I think is the whole point of that, right? To escape or get where you need to go. So, and then it goes on cooldown again at that point. So it's almost better. Like it's almost better because you can get it back, that fast dash. It can start on cooldown a little bit more because the cooldown doesn't start until that whole flight is done. So I kind of like that, to be honest. And then you're going to get firewall bonus health to self from 75 to 65 and allies from 55 to 50. So slight little nerf there on the health, but this is not as big of a nerf as I thought. All right, so we go to the team ups now, and quickly we're losing Squirrels, and Spider-Man's not a big deal at all, especially because Squirrel is going on to yet another team up. But we know Spider-Man's going to take a slight hit there on the damage. However, this is a big one that no one's kind of pointing out. Storm is losing her anchor bonus with Human Torch. I think it's 5%. And so she doesn't get that from the Jeff one, I believe. So at this point, I think she's just getting a 5% top off nerf on the damage, which is crazy they don't put that in here. But if I'm understanding that correctly, I think that's the case. But anyway, the Human Torch and Spider-Man team up. So 5% for Human Torch, his damage output, but they did level that out a bit. And then Spider-Man talked about it. The Tracer is going to be scary stuff, man. I think Spider-Man mains are gonna feast with this. Wolverine, the lifesteal, yep, that's crazy. 10% boost in damage output for Phoenix is wild. 10%, wow. So if she loses this team up, she's gonna take a huge DPS hit. Now Squirrel is joining on to Iron Man's team up, and I looked at the damage from the clip over and over. It's not that big. It's not going to do that much damage, which I think is good because it's homing and can auto aim, right? So I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy, but it will feel good in niche situations, as she kind of does in niche loadouts. Symbiote shenanigans. Let's see. The Goddess of Death. Okay, so Hela's going to get that. Yep, pull in now, which is going to be another anti-dive mechanic added on to the stun. And then Hela gains, let's see here. No, they're adding Jeff. Okay, so Jeff is getting a bit of a boost from this. Increase Guardians of the Deep maximum bonus health from 50 to 100. And the max length of the Tendril period from 3 seconds to 5 seconds. Okay, that's nice. And then the triple res zombie comp, which has been meta since season 0, increases the cooldown from 120 to 135 seconds. So 15 seconds, you know, it's usually used in crucial team fights or in the first one, right, if you choose to use it. So like in the pro scene, I don't think this is going to matter all too much. We'll see how the Sentinels respond to this, who use the triple res comp a lot. I honestly think that's not that big of a deal. 15 seconds might feel like a lot, but just how this cooldown works in the grand scheme of things, I think it's gonna be okay. All right, now we end things with the biggest losers of this. So first of all, I think the balance change was pretty even and neutral. Like not a lot of massive changes we're going to see from this in terms of meta shifts. You know, the Thing, Mantis, some people are definitely feasting. Wolverine's going to be crazy. But, yeah. So, you know, Black Panther still just completely ignored. Hawkeye, W, he didn't get a 20th ability. Luna not getting a nerf is wild to me. But I guess they just did that not too long ago. So maybe they're seeing how that plays out. And then Thor. I just feel like Thor needs more attention. And I know he just had the Awakened. Here's the thing. Thor is fine all the way up till top play, so maybe they're okay with that, and that's what the hero offers. I just feel like the ultimate needs some juice. By the way, guys, that's like our 5th video today. Hopefully you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't, and again, memberships now available if you want to support. Would mean a lot to me as a creator as I continue to build this and do bigger and crazier things here on the channel. Have a good one. We'll see you guys, I think, tomorrow with the early access build. Until the next one, happy rivaling.